Hello, friends. We are going to look at the state of Maryland in the United States. It's not as popular as maybe you may know New York or California or Florida, but Maryland is there and it's rich in the history of how the United States was formed. Actually, the flag, which you can see in the upper right corner, reflects the families of Calvert and Crossland who came to Maryland from England to establish a colony. Well, as you know, the English established many colonies in the United States, and Maryland was one of them. And so they kept the colors and unique look of the families in their flag. In fact, Maryland, the actual name, comes from the Queen of England, Queen Henrietta Maria of England. She was married to King Charles I, and King Charles granted permission for Maryland to become a colony, and it was named after his wife, the Queen. But there's also another name that is connected with Maryland, and it's called as the Old Line State. And it's called that because in history, 400 Revolutionary War soldiers had faced off with upwards of 10,000 British soldiers in the Battle of 1776. And those soldiers who held the Maryland line enabled a lot of the American army, who was led at that time by George Washington, to escape. And only 400 Revolutionary soldiers did that. And so Maryland is also known as the Old Line State. Now, in this footage, you're seeing parts of Baltimore City. Now, I have to admit, when I first heard about Maryland, I didn't know nothing about it because, like I said, you tend to hear more about the more popular states through media. But one of the first cities that stood out to me was Baltimore. And I always used to think that Baltimore City was the capital, but Annapolis is the actual capital of Maryland. However, Baltimore is probably one of the most popular ones, along with Ocean City and maybe a couple others. But in this video, you're seeing some aerial views of Baltimore City, and why it's very popular is because a lot of the forts and different things were built here, protection of the colonists from the British. A lot of the battles against England for independence were fought right in the Chesapeake Bay. And I have been up and down Maryland quite a few times. I lived there for a number of years, and I enjoyed my stay there. It's a unique Eastern people, Eastern attitude, social ways. I mean, there's a difference between those in the Eastern states, those in the Central states, and those in the Western states. Just a different way, a different attitude. More or less friendly. I wouldn't say as friendly as Westerners, but more straight to the point. Now, during the time that I lived there, I experienced many good and bad experiences. I mean, this was 20 years ago, so I really can't speak to what it is today. But you do have to be on your P's and Q's as far as your safety goes. There are certain areas, in my opinion, that can be putting your life at risk. You need to be aware of where those are. Sometimes they tend to be more in the populated areas, the cities, but not always is that the case. So really, if you have somebody that lives there and you want some critical streetwise information, it's best to get it from them. Which areas to go, which areas not to go. In the outskirts, in the urban areas, I think it's safer. But again, I haven't been there for so long, so I can't say what the status of everything is now. I'm just talking from my personal experiences. But overall, I never felt like, oh, my life is at jeopardy because I'm in Maryland. No, it's not like that at all. I felt relatively safe. But you just have to be wise. Like everything else in the world, we live in a world now where people like to take advantage of others, so just be careful. Now, some people will see Maryland as a boring state simply because they're looking for maybe a fast life, a nightlife, a Hollywood or something like that. But every state is unique, and I didn't find Maryland boring at all. There are things to do. A lot of it is based on nature. I used to go out and do a lot of camping there, some hiking. The Appalachian Trail passes through Maryland, and it's a great walk. You do have to worry about bears and I believe bobcats and stuff, but once you go in a big group and you take the precautions that you need to, you can also stay safe. Now, there's a big sports tradition there where many of the people who are famous in history for baseball, like Babe Ruth, and so they started in Maryland. And also, you have American football, which is also big there. One of the things that makes Maryland also a great state is the fact that you can meet a diverse amount of people. There's a big Jewish population, African American. There's also a quite large native population. I'm talking about the original American Indians or Aboriginal people. Indian tribes there are, but they are there, and I have attended some of their meetings. I like studying North American Indian culture, their dances, their traditions, and so forth. So I'm just going to allow you to sit back and listen to watch some of the pictures of Baltimore and other places around Maryland. If you've been to Maryland, let me know what you thought about it. If you've been to Baltimore City, I've been mostly in Baltimore County, but I did pass through the city and other surrounding counties. If you've been there, let me know in the comments area what you thought. What do you think about Maryland? Is it a place you'd like to live? Or if you have lived there, what did you think about it when you did live there? And thanks so much for watching JB's Man Cave. Make sure to like, share, and most of all subscribe. It's free. Thank you so much.